What's up, everybody? I have a big show for you tonight. Jake Paul absolutely crushes Nate Diaz's dreams ahead of Nate Diaz's big Netflix fight, which is wild because Jake Paul is the promoter, but he couldn't help himself. He popped off and started talking shit about Nate. Also, he went in on Dana White and attacked Dana White directly, which is not new in terms of Jake Paul attacking Dana, but this one kind of cut to the core, guys. We're going to get into that. Plus, John Jones, as you may have seen, was involved in a road rage video, which is kind of wild because John Jones is just out there going crazy in Albuquerque. Imagine living in Albuquerque. We got Arpon the Don in the chat. Big shout out to Arpon the Don. Also, in a twist and turn of events, people online are saying Brendan Schaub is absolutely glazing Dana White, which is unsuspected because as of late, everybody's been critical of Dana, especially Brendan Schaub was critical of the UFC in recent years. And now people are saying that he's glazing Dana. We're going to get into that. Also, in big title fight news, Hamzat has addressed the critics who say he doesn't fight enough. He absolutely doesn't care about fighting frequency. We're going to discuss why that is. He had a big reveal today, and we're going to get into all of it, guys. We also got a ceasefire going on overseas. Maybe we'll hop in and we'll get a little political. I don't want to get political because to me, I'm like, it's all jester. Clavicular was right. And if we're not going to listen to Clavicular about politics, who are we going to listen to? Anyways, real quick, make sure you check out Fight Circus, home of the freak show fights, and send your coach to studiomillions.com. Your coach will absolutely love you because studiomillions.com just might print a whole bunch of money for them, and they will thank you and be glad you sent them there. So, yeah, if you guys are on here, you subscribe, and you got your notifications on, I appreciate you. I see you guys hopping in the chat right now. I love it when you guys chat with me because I'd rather have a dialogue and a conversation rather than a monologue and a rant. I'm willing to rant. You may have seen me go as long as an hour just solo dolo, popping off the top of the head. But it's more fun when I get your guys' takes because some of you guys got hot takes and some of you guys got controversial ideas and some of you guys have real smart shit to say. Other people typically in the comments don't have the smartest shit to say. But the chatters, the real ones, the subscribers, you guys are usually on point. So let's keep the vibe high tonight. Let's keep it with high quality content. Speaking of fucking high quality content, let me count up the caffeine, guys. It's off the charts today. I wanted to set a record today. I'm not sure if I got there, but we are approaching record levels of caffeine. I have 450 off the jump plus another 360. So that is 760. Hey,
My nigga.
whoa, we got a special guest in the building.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
What's good with y'all?
Felony Charles Bennett.
That me right there? No.
No.
Oh,
We got the chat up here too, if you need it.
okay.
We got Arp on the Dawn in the chat.
So what?
Felony.
Okay, let's see. No, I did send a chat, but it didn't pull up. I wonder why.
What? Oh, people saying good luck this weekend.
Oh,
Hold on, let me tap on here. We got Felony Charles Bennett in the building.
okay.
Let me refresh this.
No,
Or
go right
oh wait, we gotta go live.
right here.
Huh?
Okay.
Top chat?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Let me refresh.
Felony's teaching me how to use YouTube, guys. Dude, I got the wrong thing on this whole fucking time.
Nah.
We got, what's that? Fizzle Cleasy in the building. Fizzle Cleasy says, what's up, Felony?
What's good, Fleazy?
Okay. So you're in the chat now.
Okay. So, right there.
You want me to set you as moderator?
Yeah.
All right, I got you. All right, we're going to set Felony as moderator, guys. Felony has, I don't know how to fucking work this thing. It's not letting me set you as moderator. Participants. Toby, what's that say? Toby what? Toby Misech about to
Catch a llama.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Add as moderator. Boom, there we go. Managing moderator. What's the difference?
Yeah, we're gonna go with that one though.
Okay. Felony's in the chat, y'all. Felony is now moderating the chat. So you know if you guys get crazy, he's gonna pop off on you guys. Oh shit. Well, Felony put my PayPal up, y'all.
That's what it is.
Felony said that he was only gonna hop on the chat if you guys start hitting the PayPal. Or he said he's only gonna hop on the live. So he's a man of his word. And
there it is. Now it's up to you.
What are we doing?
Pinning it.
Okay.
Why can't we pin it?
I can pin it right here, right?
Oh, no.
Everybody screaming felony, felony, felony. Wait, man. Maybe I can't pin it. How do I pin it? On here?
You should be able to go to the comment. No. Yeah.
Guys, this is, hey, you guys want to know if it's live? This is super live. This is super live. You guys
I wouldn't have normally did this, but I gotta hook my nigga up, man. I gotta get.
See, man, I'm over here, like as an artiste. You know what I'm saying? And Felony's like, no, put your fucking PayPal in the chat, bro. Let people send you some dough. And I'm like, oh, you think? And he's like, dude, just fucking do it, bro. And I'm like, all right, man. He's got a bigger YouTube following than me. He's gone viral more than me. Hold on, we got pop. Hit this. Hit that. Hey, yeah.
Okay. All right, bro. I can't pin the comment myself because it's not allowing.
And then when I tap here, it doesn't let me pin it either. It just let me report it or block it.
Yeah, so
let me. Anyway, we're gonna figure it out. I'm on.
Continue on to show. I'm sorry, guys.
Hey, nah, man. Hey, it's always a pleasure when we got a fucking MMA superstar popping in randomly with the YouTube skills to get the fucking moderation going. We got a new. Listen, tonight's a big night, guys. Big event just happened. Felony Charles Bennett is now the fucking official moderator of the chat. So you guys got something to say? It's got to go through Felony now. All right. So, okay, man, and I see his name in blue now, so that's wild. Okay, so now I'm gonna always know when it's Felony. All right, I don't even have my count accurate for the caffeine. It's somewhere between 800 and 1,000, though. Oh, it might even be more because I had another 100. I bought another 100 milligram. I went to Whole Foods before I taught amateur practice at Extreme Couture, and I bought another 100 milligrams. So, anyways, with that being said, I appreciate you guys subscribing. I appreciate my new moderator, Felony Charles Bennett. I appreciate everybody that's chatting. So let's get right into the fucking topics, guys. Okay, let me put this on mute over here. Let me go live so I can see myself and keep up with the chat. So listen, we're getting it figured out. One day at a time, 1% better. All right, I had some hater in the comments talking about one of my lower view count videos, and he's like, you know how haters do. They just try and point out the shit that would get them to stop. And it's more of a reflection on them, but I'm gonna clap back at him and tell him that this won't age well. And then when we're 100,000 subscribers deep, I'm gonna go back and hit the comment because I remember shit like this. I keep notes, I keep track, and I'm gonna go back and stun on him again, guys. That's what I do. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm just saying that's how my mind works, and maybe that's why I'm fucking good at martial arts, and I'm also a fucking professional MMA champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I coach and teach at Extreme Couture. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what keeps me motivated, is crushing the detractors' souls. Okay, so let's get into people crushing people's dreams. Jake Paul crushed Nate Diaz's dreams because Nate Diaz claims that Nate's an actual boxer. He says that these MMA guys, Nate says this. Nate says that MMA fighters don't know how to box. Jake Paul, who some would say is not a real boxer, even though I think the motherfucker can box, he says that Nate Diaz is the absolute weakest and worst puncher he's ever felt in his life. So Nate's over here saying that MMA fighters can't box, and Jake is saying that Nate is the worst puncher he's ever felt. So as a dude who prides himself on his boxing, Nate Diaz is thinking that he's tight, and Jake is saying, bro, you're not tight. You can't even punch, bro. So what this leads, the reason why I'm bringing this up is what this leads me to believe is the next big fight is going to be the biggest fight in mixed martial arts history. Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul in MMA on Netflix. 100 million viewers, guys. You heard it here first. They're setting it up. That's the plan. We got John Hogan. He says, hey, everyone. Yeah, man. So, listen, guys, I love when you guys hit the chat. So I'm always shout you guys out as much as I can because I appreciate you. So Jake Paul also went in. His exact quote was this. Listen, this is how professional I'm getting, right? I got the exact quote here. On my mom's life, rest in peace. Strike her down, God. Nate Diaz is the lightest. Nate Diaz is the lightest and worst puncher I've ever fought. On his mom's life, guys. On his mom's life. He said, may God strike his mother dead. Nate Diaz is the lightest puncher. So what does that mean for Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry? What does that mean? Well, because we've seen Nate hit Conor McGregor with a 1-2, and then Conor McGregor turned into a wrestler. We saw that in the first fight. That's actually the sequence that led to Nate choking Conor out. Was Nate hit him, boom, boom, 1-2, and then Conor panic wrestled, which is crazy because Conor is the one who popularized the term panic wrestler. And once Conor said that, I sort of noticed that because I've got 9 professional MMA wins with 9 submissions. Everybody I've beat, I've submitted, but I don't shoot takedowns. They shoot takedowns. Why? It's because what Conor said. When you fucking crack them, they shoot. The human animal is designed to cling and grab. And if you believe in evolution, then that means we're kind of like primates. And our evolutionary predisposition is to hug, to hold, to tackle, right? Now, Conor was onto something. But when Nate cracked him, Conor turned into the panic wrestler. That's how Nate got the submission. And you would think that that means that Nate's got some power, even though he looks like he might not have power. Jake, on the other hand, says he doesn't. So what does that mean for Mike Perry versus Nate Diaz? Mike Perry is a dude that walks forward in bare knuckle. He walked forward on Luke Rockhold. Luke Rockhold is a big motherfucker. Luke Rockhold's like 6'2", 200 something pounds. And Mike Perry walked forward and broke Luke's teeth. So is he going to walk through Nate Diaz? The issue is if he does walk through his punches, now he's getting into clinch range. And if Nate Diaz exchanges in a clinch range in terms of a takedown attempt, even if Nate ends up on bottom, I believe Nate will win. That will set up the Jake Paul fight. That's how I see it going down. He's got to get through Mike Perry first. This piece of information, which I believe, because I don't think Jake Paul would put it on his mom's life unless it was true. Nate is the lightest puncher Jake's ever felt. Therefore, Nate is maybe not the lightest, but he's not a big enough puncher to back Mike Perry off because Luke Rockhold was not a big enough puncher to back up Mike Perry. So Jake Paul also went in on Dana. He attacked Dana and specifically the White House card, which is it's all tying together. They are going directly at the UFC. So typically, if you're a Burger King, you go at McDonald's. Now, if you're McDonald's, you don't go at Burger King because number 1 doesn't go at number 2. But when you're entering a marketplace, often it's advantageous for the new arrival to go at the number 1, right? So because MVP is the new MMA promotion in town, they're going to go at the UFC. And they are saying that they have a different product, a better product. And here's why. Jake attacked Dana and said, you have a Spaniard, this is the exact quote, beating a white American on the patriotic White House card. Big mistake. And then he went on and he talked about John Jones. We'll get into that in a second. But that's kind of what everybody's saying, right? Is that they got a fucking Spaniard beating an American on the White House card, which we have a ceasefire overseas. So the White House card is looking like it still might go down. I was concerned, obviously, for the tragic loss of life. Anytime there's a war, we don't want war. We like peace. We like good vibes, guys. Okay. But even if there's a conflict going on that's just like a Cold War where there's just a lot of tension, oftentimes that can cause a problem for having a fucking event at the White House, right? So is the White House card even going to go down? Well, I feel like as long as we can keep peace in the Middle East and get things back to some normalcy and keep people living and alive and working with each other and doing business together and everything's copacetic in the world, we're going to get the White House card. They got a fucking Spaniard beating an American. And now Justin Gaethje can prove the world wrong, and Justin Gaethje can go out. That's why we fight, right? Because they fly you in to lose, and you can bounce with the belt. You can prove everybody wrong. So I'm not saying Justin Gaethje can't win. I'm just saying that the popular consensus is he's not going to win. And why would they showcase a Spaniard at the White House card? A conspiracy theorist online said that the people that own the UFC are not fans of America. Anyway, it gets deep, man. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. We're going to keep it very light and airy around here. Nate kind of sets you up with light stuff while setting you up for a stinger. Okay, so right, so maybe he didn't land on Jake. Maybe he was setting him up and the power never landed because he did land on Connor and Connor power panic wrestled. And Connor's been hit by a lot of guys. So you would think Connor, came up boxing in Ireland. He's felt power. For whatever reason, when Nate cracked him, he shot, right? So that led me to believe that Nate had more power than people kind of give on when they see how he strikes. And what you're saying would make sense is that he's setting him up. Now, if he was setting Jake up and just didn't land, maybe that's why Jake says he punches light. Maybe Mike Perry's experience will be different. But based on this evidence from direct, what was that, an 8-round fight that they fought? You think he would have cracked him at least once in there, right? And so Jake Paul went on. He said, "Why are you not going to pay John Jones? They've gotten greedy and they've forgotten their heart as a company." So he's going in on Dana. He's saying that they've forgotten their heart as a company. He's saying that that's the difference between MVP and UFC is that MVP is fighter first. And that's such a fucking strong appeal because when I'm at Extreme Couture, everybody's talking about the MVP card. So many people want to fight for MVP. So many people want to fight for Netflix, which is crazy because the gold standard for the longest time has been the UFC. And now that there's a new player in the game, everybody that had UFC aspirations is now looking to go get 20, 30, 50, 100 million views and a big bag fighting for Netflix. Shit's getting crazy, guys. Speaking of John Jones not fighting at the White House card, John Jones had a road rage incident, as you may know, right? So I'm not sure if you guys saw this quote, though. But so before we get into the quote, people are saying this online. They're going, dude, imagine living in Albuquerque. You got the baddest dude on the planet just running around. He's drunk. He's crashing into pregnant chicks. He's got guns. He's firing off in the fucking air and nobody can stop him. He's just doing whatever. If somebody flips him off, he pulls over and gets out of the car. John Jones is just like roaming around Albuquerque, New Mexico, allegedly just causing trouble. But I heard during the lockdown when people were trying to pop off, John Jones was actually going out like as a vigilante and kind of regulating and keeping peace and order. So maybe it goes both ways, guys. But John Jones, some dude, I guess, got offended that John Jones was driving a certain way. They get into it. John Jones gets out of the fucking car because both dudes pulled over. John Jones and this guy, they both pulled over. And then John Jones was quoted as saying, "I swear being famous is a double-edged sword. I can land in any country in the world and receive unbelievable love and hospitality. But let me give some entitled street racer the middle finger, and suddenly it's national news," right? So that's the crazy part. People flip each other off every day. John Jones flips somebody off, boom, national media attention. But the question is this: why does John Jones find himself in these situations? Because there's plenty of people that are fucking famous and they're not all over the news for all this crazy shit all the time. So I've noticed this is a pattern too. There's certain people that are constantly getting into shit, right? Like there's other people. Like, do you remember way back in the day, guys? The OGs. I know John Hogan will probably remember this. Felony will remember this. But like before one of the UFC events, somebody snatched a purse and John Jones was there, and John Jones like ran the motherfucker down and tackled them and got the purse back for the lady. Like, shit's just popping off wherever John Jones finds himself. So I don't know if you guys believe in the law of attraction, if you believe in like synchronicities, um, spooky actions at a distance, quantum entanglement. You know what I mean? That crazy, weird, hippie shit, right? I fuck with it. That's why I like good vibes. Trying to radiate on a vibrational frequency. So some people would say John Jones is on an interesting frequency where he's always in the mix. Now, let me ask you this, guys. Could that be what's causing John Jones to be the greatest fighter of all time? Is that he's vibrating on like a fucking chaotic frequency, but that chaoticness is what allows him to do things that many other people can't do in martial arts. I don't know, man. So as you guys know, you guys saw Felony popped on the live today. He and I are popping out to Hawaii actually tomorrow in the morning. So it is like midnight here. We got to be up at 6 to catch the airport or whatever. Felony may be staying up all night, whatever, right? But in a John Jones like situation, people would try and correct John Jones and go, you got to do it this way, you got to do it that way. I've trained a few people, I've cornered a few people, and I am of the category of people that if someone is successful and someone has attributes, you should let them express themselves through martial arts in the way that they want to. And I believe if people boxed John Jones in and were like, you've got to do it this way, you've got to be more, you got to be less chaotic in life, that might actually hinder John Jones's performance, guys. So, same thing. We're going out to Hawaii, feeling he's going to KO this guy. People go, bro, he's smoking black and milds. What's going on? You guys don't hit mitts? What, like, you only spar? Like, but guess what? That's the formula that works. So every individual fighter has an individual formula that works. Now, if someone's inexperienced and they don't know what they can do, they don't know what they're capable of, they don't know who they are as a fighter, well then obviously as a coach, like for an amateur who's an amateur debuter, you can come in there and like help them with the game plan, help them with a structure of training, help them with like a nutrition program, help them with a weight cut. But sometimes, this is going to be a controversial take, people know what's best for themselves. And so John Jones getting caught up in all this fucking crazy shit, I think that fuels him. Like his nature is chaotic. You know, when they do the charts that are like chaotic good, chaotic evil, chaotic neutral, all that stuff, right? Fuck, dude. Depending on the day, chaotic. He's chaotic. I would have to like know him personally to rate his intention, but he seems like who's got some stuff going on that he's trying to like connected. Please wait. Oh, da, 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 da. I just don't like because he kicks everyone's knees and pokes everyone in their eyes. Right? Yeah. So we were talking about this at the gym. If they're not going to take a point for eye pokes, are eye pokes actually a legal technique? Because if they're not going to fucking penalize anybody, John Jones or anyone, for poking someone in the eye, so you can get away with a free eye poke essentially, is it just a valid technique at that point? And this is like a moral dilemma, right? Like morals come into it, like, oh, you want to adhere to a clean fight. But in terms of absolute winning, morals aside, if they're not going to fucking penalize you for it, is it actually a foul? Or is it just a technique? Or is it just going to help you win? Same with a kick to the nuts. If they don't take a point, you got a breather because you kicked a dude in the balls. So is that actually like a positive reward for what's considered a foul? Same thing with these fucking eye pokes all the time, man. Unless they're going to do something about it, people are seeing it as a valid technique. There's literally people who fight in the UFC that believe eye poking is a strategy because there's no downside to it. So unless people get strict and the refs start taking a point for the first infraction, there's going to be a subsegment of the population that fights that views it as valid because they have winning on the hierarchy over everything, including morals. So if the only reason you're not eye poking is a moral argument, someone would say, I'm not saying this, somebody would say you don't want to win bad enough, right? Yeah, you get at least two. So that's the problem is you can poke somebody in the eye twice, get 2 warnings, affect the fight, and still win the fight with no point deduction. So is it like if you were a coach, right? If you were a robot, imagine you were a robot coach, no emotions, you're AI, no emotions at all. And you were prompted, hey, program me a strategy that's going to win me the most amount of fights. Eye pokes are not penalized until the third eye poke. So you get 2 free eye pokes. The AI would come back and tell you to poke people in the eyes. That's how cold the game is, guys. Same thing with kicking in the nuts. Now, when John's kicking in the knees, I understand that looks like malicious intent, but it's a malicious sport. So I support the knee stomps. I feel like you know what you're getting yourself into. It is a legal technique. He's trying to fucking end the fight. He's trying to give his opponent deterrence. But I'm a bit of a purist. I think soccer kicks should be legal. I think head stomps should be legal. I think we should have everything legal except for eye pokes. Now that we're talking about eye pokes, like fish hooks, putting your finger in any orifice, and like nut shots, right? Like no biting, no gouging someone's eyes out, which I guess would fall into the category of putting your finger inside them, right? So don't put your finger in anybody, don't bite anybody, and don't hit anybody in the nuts. The rest of it should be legal, right? Even like downward elbows to the spine. Like, dude, if you don't want to get your fucking cerebellum elbowed, tap the fuck out, you know? Yeah, the old oil check, right? Yeah, and that's how they look at it. It's legal, but right, but like, is it moral? Is it moral to stomp somebody's knee? Right? But if you don't stomp their knee and you get KO'd and you have to explain to your daughter why daddy is in the hospital, do you wish that you would have had a fucking time machine to go back and then stomp the dude's knee and win the fight and not get KO'd and not have to explain to your crying daughter why daddy's in the hospital? Like, that's what I'm saying. Fighting's crazy, guys. It's not normal. It's not normal society, right? So the rules that are best for normal society sometimes are not the best rules to win that specific fight, and it gets fucking crazy. So yeah, fuck it. These are the moral questions. I sit around and think about this shit. Like, these are really the questions I ask myself. Like, dude, is it actually like if I were coaching someone and they were to say, hey, this guy hits really hard, I'm gonna poke him in the eyes next round. Would I be an asshole for telling that fighter not to poke in the eyes, knowing they're never going to get a point deducted, even though my fighter might win? And like, what's my obligation as a coach? Is it to ensure my fighter wins, to give my fighter the best chance of winning, or is it to adhere to some moral standard, right? Obviously, we would all love it if we all agreed to the moral standard and everyone adhered to it, which is also the issue with people doing performance enhancing drugs, because a lot of people in MMA, boxing, combat sports, other sports in general, but specifically we're talking about combat sports, are juicing. So if a fighter comes up to me and is like, hey, I'm thinking about juicing, what then am I supposed to tell them no and then they go get head kick knocked out by somebody that's on juice? Like what's the fucking actual correct thing to say? Which leads us into another conversation about like morals, right, guys? So do you adhere to societal morals or do you have your own moral code? And which one is more valid? Letting society dictate to you the morals by which you should adhere, or having your own internal structure, whether it is in alignment with society or not, that you adhere to? Some would say the higher form of morality is having an internal code that you adhere to. Some other people would say that it's better to go along with the societal moral code, right? Because then we can all have an agreed upon functioning society. That's where religion can come in, because religion would be seen as a moral code that is above man. And we're not going to get into religious specifics right now, because that's a whole other conversation. But one would say that if you look at the word of God, whichever God you choose to believe in, as above man, then when men argue, they can default to the moral code above them, which is God's word. And that's how religion can keep a society intact. And in that case, if you are adhering to a religious moral code, which is above man and men's arguments, then you could go into the cage with a firm conviction on how you should operate in terms of things like eye poking and such. Okay, let's get into the chat, guys. Would be pretty cool to have a TRT league. Man, they had the like TRT Olympics. It's called the Enhanced Games. And I believe they secured like $1.3 billion already for the Enhanced Games. Now, the question is, can we get combat sports to the Enhanced Games? And that Brendan Schaub was talking about fighting Brock Lesnar if they can both do juice. That's the kind of crazy shit that can happen when you're allowed to juice, right? We get these legends of the sport in there, juice to the gills, snarling, veins in their fucking chest, high blood pressure, looking red as grapes, and fucking popping off on each other. Yeah, if it's John Jones, you have to fight to win. Are you saying if you fight John Jones, or if you are John Jones because he's fighting at such a high level? That would be my question back to you to clarify on your statement, John Hogan. Felony Charles Bennett says, LOL. Let me see if I can pin your comment now, Felony. Nope, I still don't know how to do it. I'm gonna figure it out soon, guys. Listen, we're about to have some big fucking upgrades to the chat. I got this OBS software, which is allowing me gonna do picture in picture. That shit is for nerds, though. So I was looking at it today, and I had to pop out to the gym, because I keep the main thing, which is training. But I was able. Here's a big update. I was able, because if you guys notice, I'm using an iPhone with the front camera. That's why the words are backwards. Shout out to Arpon the Don for explaining that the words are backwards, because he noticed that, even though I didn't notice it. I'm over here ranting, can't even notice my own background on my own shirt. So this actually says Fight Circus, even though it looks like it says Tefeg Circus, right, or whatever it says backwards. But yeah, so today I was not able to get to the point where I was able to do like picture in picture. And when I bring up a quote from Jake Paul, I could actually play Jake Paul saying it while we're live. I haven't gotten that far yet, but I was able to get the camera to work in OBS to a certain extent, and I was using the back camera. So apparently that's going to fix some shit visually. And then the next thing that's going up is I've got some soundproof stuff that's going on the walls. So that's going to help with the audio. We're going to get it crispy in here. We're going to get it on point so that the background actually reads correctly. And then I'm going to be doing picture in picture. Bro, no telling what we might do. We got big plans coming. And you guys were here first. So you guys have excellent taste. All right. So yeah. Fight Circus. What you know about Fight Circus, man? Freak show fights. Felony fucking choke slam death sentence. That was epic. I was happy for that. I was in a 2-on-2 beer boxing fight, the last Fight Circus. I came out as Dong Master 3000. You know, he's a pimp with a heart of gold, some would say. And but he's a dastardly dude. So he interfered in the main event. Dong Master 3000 did. I would never do this, right? We're talking about morals. Dong Master has his own moral code. So he interfered in the main event. He got brought into the ring, partnered up with Mark the Shark, bare knuckle champion, T-shirt, two people in the same shirt. We only get one glove each. And we had to fight Ben Davis, who is a lot of ways suspect, and Oscar Willis, who I fuck with, right? But when it comes down to fight circuses securing the bag, man, we had to throw hands with those guys, right? So that's what we did. Fortunately, Mark the Shark, bare knuckle world champion, and Dong Master 3000, played by King David MMA, who's a pro MMA champion, were able to beat the two MMA announcers with questionable moral codes. Okay, guys, so we won. So it was a blast. I'd love it if they would drop the video. Apparently, the video was shot so professionally that the camera footage and the audio are on two separate things, and then they got to sync them together. It's a process, guys. But I would love it if they would drop it on YouTube, personally. So yeah, and if you guys want to see felony, chokeslam, and death sentence, I don't mean to spoil it for you guys, but I guess you would already figure out that felony would beat death sentence in a fight. Hopefully, you would figure that out. And you can go to Felony's Instagram, Felony Charles Bennett 352. Peep that reel. I think it's got like over 100,000 views already. And yeah, it's kind of I find it to be hilarious because backstage, death sentence was talking way out of pocket, which honestly, in hindsight, isn't really his own fault. I don't think he processes things the same way everybody else does. I think he might be special in that regard. But if you don't know that going in, you just think it's some dude talking shit like, whoa, what's this dude's really thinking that he's going to beat Felony up. But hindsight, Felony had a good point. He said that it's his people around him that are like gassing him up and allowing him to think that rather than regulating him, which keep getting him into these fights in like street beefs and all this shit, which isn't good for him because he keeps getting beat up. Long story short, I guess these boys with Wing C wants to avenge him. Felony doesn't even want to entertain that because Wing C's not on the level, which I understand. We got bigger fish to fry. We're going to bare knuckle. Felony just got 30 million views, man. He can't be fucking around with the fuck arounds. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're paying a big bag, right? So, anyways, if you want to peep that, it's on Felony's Instagram. That's a little bit of the backstory about the most recent fight circus. They got fight circus popping off in Thailand every week now. It is dinner and some fights at Candy Nightclub. And I'm trying to pop out there soon, go put my toes in the white sands of the beaches of Thailand. So if you guys are headed to Thailand, make sure you check that out. Ain't no telling we would do. That needs to be on the shirt. Shout out to King David MMA for filming. Yeah. So if you guys watch the actual Instagram where it's felony versus death sentence, you'll hear me in the background go, felony, felony, right? Because the first night, so we did 2 nights of fight circus. The first night, they're spinning what's called the wheel of violence. And so you don't know what you're going to fight in. So it could be Hulk hands, big green Hulk hands. It could be giant boxing gloves. It could be MMA gloves. It could be kicks only. It could be spinning shit only. They have some crazy stuff on the wheel of violence. One of the things was a dance battle. So the first night, the third round was a dance battle, which left the public wanting more. The second night, however, it landed on MMA. And that's what we fucking do here, man. So I was happy it landed on MMA, and that reel's popping off. The bare knuckle reel is popping off. That's got 30 million views. And I'm guessing this next walkout and this next fight, because listen, if you guys go look at the bare knuckle card, like the flyer for it looks like blacks versus Hawaiians. I'm not saying that's what they're trying to do. It just looks that way to everyone who sees it because it's 3 Hawaiian dudes on one side and 3 black dudes on the other side, and they're pointed at each other to look like they're in face-offs. We're going to Hawaii. I'm cornering a non-Hawaiian, and we're gonna ruin their day. So it's probably gonna go viral again, guys. I'm excited. Yeah, if Felony says he can't dance, right? We don't dance, we boogie, bro. You know what I mean? We don't dance. So yeah, the next walkout, dude, we got a couple ideas. I don't know if Felony wants to talk about them publicly yet, but we've got some options. We got a couple fucking crazy ass options. You got some you got something planned. There's a few different options that are being floated around right now. all of which are hilarious. Some are more controversial than others, and yeah, man. But it's the last. I don't know. Did you guys see the last one, which was the racist airplane Burger King guy? He said we boogie, bro. Yeah. So you know how we do. We just shoulder lean, right? So, but felony, I'm gonna call you out right now, bro. You were doing a little dancing to that Alicia Keys on the way to the ring last fight. Felony walked out to A Woman's Worth by Alicia Keys, and apparently it was popular that he met a nice young lady on his TikTok, guys. So, you know what I'm saying? This is a love story in a way, right? We love this, right? We love, guys. I got to calculate my caffeine intake because I'm probably approaching 1,000 milligrams right now. Felony says the Burger King man on the plane wasn't racist. But Felony, are you going to address? Okay, that was the boogie. Okay, so you were boogieing, you weren't dancing. Because I noticed you had a couple moves there for a second when that Alicia Keys hit. But yeah, so can you imagine? Can you imagine? You're an Irish dude. You're in Philadelphia. You've got hundreds, if not thousands, of Irish boxing fans in the fucking arena. You are from Philly. All your people are there. Your family, your friends, your chick, your mother is in the crowd. Everybody from your boxing gym. You come out to some Irish music. You've taken plenty of pictures standing next to Conor McGregor, right? You've got them all over your Instagram. Everybody thinks you're that dude. And then you walk out, Irish music, all this. The announcers are gassing you up. And he's the pride of Philadelphia, promising young prospect Pat Sullivan is an Irish boxer from a boxing city, Philadelphia, home. He's got all his people here. The crowd is, there's green shit in the crowd, right? And then the music hits. It's Alicia Keys. And the MMA legend, Felony Charles Bennett, walks out in a blonde fucking wig, a red bandana around his neck, and a fucking Burger King hat on. And he's boogieing on his way to the ring in front of your people, in front of your parents, in front of your girlfriend. He's dancing to Alicia Keys on the way to the ring to come fucking spark you unconscious, break your fucking jaw, TKO you in the second, in front of your people. You go viral for getting knocked unconscious. 30 million views and your mouth wired shut later as you reflect back on the dude that walked out to Alicia Keys in a blonde wig and a fucking Burger King crown. Can you imagine? That's fucking crazy. That's fucking wild, man. And that's the risks involved with fighting, especially with bare knuckle. Yeah, and Felony saying he was walking out with no worries. Dude, bro, Felony was so confident. I was so confident. Doc Ock, who was there with us, was so confident because we were there for all the work that Felony was putting in. Felony was a fucking plus 1,000 underdog like at fight time. I was telling everybody, bet the fucking house. We got people that still owe us dinner over this because they made money and now they want to take us out to go get steaks and shit. You know what I mean? We've got a ledger of food we haven't collected from people that won money that want to buy us fucking meals because we knew what was going to happen. And can you imagine this next one? Hawaii. You're on the fucking flyer. Everybody in the fucking city knows you. You're repping for the whole fucking island. And then Felony's gonna come out to some fucking 90s R&B in a fucking hilarious costume. I'm not gonna say dancing on his way, but boogieing on his way to the ring. And you talked all that shit. You told everybody what you were about to do. Everybody there is rooting for you. And they're about to have a bad night because Felony's going to KO you in front of your friends and family and the whole island you're representing. That's what's on the line in this bare knuckle fight, guys. Dude, there's nothing better than fucking combat sports. I fucking love this shit. This is gonna get so fucking lit. I can't wait. I'm fucking thrilled. It's 1 in the morning here. We gotta be up at 6 to pop out to the airport. I'm not saying it's the fucking 1,000 milligrams of caffeine. Maybe it's the fucking Vegas air. Maybe it's the excitement for going to Hawaii and seeing my friend fucking knock somebody out and collect a bag. But I can't fucking sleep, y'all. I'm fucking amped up. I'm excited. Bare knuckle, April 11th. Felony Charles Bennett's gonna knock this guy out. Bet your fucking house on it. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting the chat. I'll talk to you tomorrow from Hawaii. Peace.